Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Bahasham Chakwarash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and taught us his truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. And as you know, this is a correct depiction of who the world ignorantly calls God to the right here. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. And to the left, which is his right on the picture, is his son, Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, and they are both so-called black men from the tribe of Judah. You see, and the tribe of Judah consists of the so-called Negroes, all right, and then the Latinos, Native Americans, or the other tribes here that you see on this list, all right. Altogether, there are 12 tribes of Israel, and you can see, depending on what nation you are from, what tribe you belong to. All right, and of course, there are those who do not look like a typical Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, but they are Israelites according to the seed of their father. All right, and these are the children of Israel, for whom the Bible was written for whom Yahawashi came. All right, so today's lesson is going to be about the kingdom of heaven, all right, and what it's going to consist of, okay, and also going into Yahawashi, and, because this is his kingdom. It's the kingdom of Yahawashi, okay, and he's going to be ruling this kingdom, all right. It's going to be Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, King David, then the 144,000, and the rest of the elect, ruling over the whole world, man. That's what the kingdom of heaven is. And it's going to stand forever, man. All right. Unlike all these other kingdoms that have, these different empires that have risen and fallen. One kingdom is translated to another. All right. Well, once America is translated to the Israelites, all right, there will be no other rulerships on this earth. China doesn't have next. Russia doesn't have next. No, the children of Israel have next under their Lord, Yahweh Bashem Awashai. All right, so we're going to get started here in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6. It says, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given." All right, and that's representative of Yahawashi. It says, "And the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Right, and that's Yahawashi, man. All right, and this government that's going to be upon his shoulder, all right, is speaking about the kingdom of heaven. All right, because we know in 2 Peter's it talks about how we look forward to a kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, and that's going to be the kingdom. All right, the kingdom of heaven here on the earth, ruled by Yahawashi, is going to be the perfect kingdom, the perfect utopia. All right, verse 7, "Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end." You see, it's just going to continue on forever, man, the perfect kingdom. "Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this." You see, because in the time of King David, all right, David had the heathen in fear and subjection, and they were for tributaries. All right, that time is coming back. All right, instead of us serving these different heathen nations, all right, working all these jobs, paying bills, not having any might or power in our hands, not having any generational wealth, all these things are coming to an end, man. We're about to be the rulers of the earth, man, not this oppressor, Esau, the so-called white man. All right. Now we're going to go into Psalms 72, and we're going to read, some of these verses. This was a psalm that was written for King Solomon by his father, David. Okay. And we're going to read into it, and you're going to see that Solomon was Yahawashi in the reincarnation, man. All right, which I brought that out in other videos But this is very plain and very easy to understand if we read it. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. It says, give the king thy judgments, O power, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. He shall judge thy people with righteousness, and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by righteousness. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy. Who's the children of the needy? That's us Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You're the ones living in ghettos. You're the first ones, Salaki, the last ones hired, and the first ones fired. Okay, you're the ones that have no power in your hand. All right, you're the bywords. They call you wetbacks, niggas, all these different bywords. We're the ass of every joke. You see? It says, and shall break in pieces the oppressor. You see? And who needs that more than anybody else is us, man. We need to be saved from these oppressors, man, these Edomites, the so-called white man. All right? It says, they shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure throughout all generations. He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth. In his days shall the righteous flourish. Man, who's the righteous is the Israelites. And abundance of peace so long as the moon endureth. Right? Because it's going to endure forever, man. All right, it says, he shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. See, YAHAWASHI is going to rule the whole world. And you can find various precepts to back that up, which we'll go into. But it says, they that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. You see, and who are the enemies of YAHAWASHI? They're also our enemies. Pursuant to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, is all these other nations, man, starting with the top culprit, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right, who's in league with all these other nations, the so-called Arabs, the so-called Chinese, the so-called Japanese, right, the so-called native Africans over there, the so-called Arabs, all right, all these other nations are together against our people to keep us in the dark, because they know as soon as we come back to our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it's over for them, man. All right, and YAHAWASHI is setting that up in these times, all right, through this truth. All right, it says the kings of Tarshish and of the isles shall bring presents. The king of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him, man. You see, and by extension, since we're going to be joint heirs, like the scriptures say, all right, those nations are going to be serving us, man. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be a beautiful kingdom for the Israelites. But all you other nations are going to be serving slavery to us. All right, and there's nothing wrong with that, because look, we're over here serving slavery to you. We can't live the way we want to live. We got to go to these dumbass jobs every day and have no way to move forward financially in this wicked ass oppressive system, which is set up for the poor to stay poor and the rich to stay rich. It's going to be just like that in the kingdom, but it's going to be righteous, man. All right, even these other heathen nations, eventually, they're going to be loving it, man, because when we are in rulership, man, it's going to be perfect. All right, now, of course, they're going to serve the 1,000 years of captivity, as the scriptures say. But the psalm continues. It says, for he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, the poor also, and him that hath no helper, right? That's us, man. We don't have any power in our hand, as the scriptures say. He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy. He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall their blood be in his sight. And he shall live, and to him shall be given the gold of Sheba. Prayer also shall be made for him continually, and daily shall he be praised. See, that's all talking about YAHAWASHI, man, because Solomon isn't going to accomplish all this, because Solomon, after his rulership, right, he died, and none of this happened yet, man. All right, so this is talking about when Solomon comes back as YAHAWASHI. All right, which when he came back as YAHAWASHI, He was only dead for 3 days, but now he's alive again forever. You see? Immortal. And he's gonna fulfill this, man. There shall be a handful of corn in the earth upon the top of the mountains. The fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and they of the city shall flourish like the grass of the earth. Right? So we're not going to be out here getting gunned down on the street, murdering our own people, our mothers killing us in the womb. All right? It says his name shall endure forever, right? Because it's going to be an eternal kingdom. All right? Ruled by YAHAWASHI. It says his name shall be continued as long as the sun, the men shall be blessed in him. All nations shall call him blessed. Blessed be Yahweh power, the power of Israel, who only doeth wondrous things, and blessed be his glorious name forever. And let the whole earth be filled with his glory. Amen and amen. The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended, right? Because David wrote this to his son Solomon, who is YAHAWASHI in the reincarnation, man. All right. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, right? Hold on to what you have, this truth, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. All right. Keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right. Because the Lord doesn't need us, man. All right. We don't know if we're the elect. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. We strive to do everything that's required to the best of our ability, maintaining that faith strongly in YAHAWASHI. All right. That we may have a chance of salvation, man. All right. Verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. You see? So those of you that are saying, oh, that's all Old Testament. The Lord is not about conquering nations anymore. No. Right here in Revelation, it's telling you again, man. You see, just like YAHAWASHI is going to take over these nations, so are we. Because we're going to be joint heirs with YAHAWASHI. Lord's will would be the elect. We're going to be ruling with YAHAWASHI, man. All right? Because look what it says here, verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. See? So YAHAWASHI is going to be destroying these nations and putting them in their place. And guess what? If we do what we're supposed to and the Lord choose us, so are we, man. So are we. All right? And that's a beautiful thing. All right? This is Daniel 2 and 44. And in the days of these kings, right? These kings, speaking about this modern times right now, shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, right? The Lord's setting up that kingdom right now through this truth. All right? All 12 tribes of the nation of Israel are coming together under this under the title of the Israelites. Okay? Because we know who we are again. Right? Following the wisdom, knowledge, and instructions of the scriptures. Okay? The scriptures say the kingdom of heaven is within you. Right? YAHAWASHI was speaking to the Israelites. Okay, so the Lord is setting that up right now as we speak. All right? Shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, right? Just like all these other empires that rose and fell. No, our kingdom is going to be eternal, and it's going to be the best kingdom ever. The rest of these nations, eventually after they serve their slavery to us for 1,000 years, Esau going to be done away with pursuant to Obadiah chapter 1. All right, but the rest of these nations, they're going to receive mercy and they're going to be able to live in their little areas. All right, but they're going to be paying taxes to us and serving us ultimately, man. All right. And, Salakia, my phone was making, Siri was chiming in. Oh, nosy ass. But anyway, like it was saying, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. You see? For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Okay, because that rock, that great millstone that came down and destroyed Nebuchadnezzar's statue, which you could read about in this whole chapter, right? That stone represents YAHAWASHI, because he's going to break in pieces, like it says here, and consume all these kingdoms. And his kingdom shall stand forever, man. All right, we know through his second coming, there's going to be what the world calls a so-called alien invasion, which is just the chariots of YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI is coming back in a giant so-called UFO. And there's going to be 20,000s and thousands of UFOs, so-called UFOs, man. Those are the angels with YAHAWASHI. They're going to tear these nations apart. All right? Then ultimately, okay, you're going to have that thermonuclear destruction of America to finish off this age. Because this world is ruled by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And once his kingdom goes down, all these other nations are going into slavery. All right, including Esau, Edom himself, starting with his wicked elites, because those are going to be the only Edomites, damn near some of the few Edomites left. All right, because everybody else, all the other Edomites, are going to be blown up. All right, those are going to be the remnant of Esau, man, that remains. Those international banking families, because they're going to hide in their little bunkers underground. All right, but we're going to dig them up and put them into captivity, man. And then that kingdom of heaven will be fully established, man. And I found this beautiful page on Instagram called Kingdom Vibes 144, man. All right, just so y'all could get a mental visual, man. All right, this is what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like, man. We're going to have our enemies the way they had us, man. You see? All right? The earth is going to be pure and clean. Everything's going to be all natural. The food, all organic. All right? The women are going to be in order, right? We're going to have slaves of all these different nations. Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, Ishmaelites, Hamites. All right? Our woman is going to be beautiful again. She's not going to be bald-headed, talking crazy, big, fat, morbidly obese. All right, stank. None of that, man. Our woman is going to be the most beautiful woman on the earth. All right, and again, you're going to have these heathen nations. They're going to be the slaves, man. All right, and guess what? All right, it's not a sin for a man to have multiple women. So you're going to have multiple women. You're going to have the Israelite woman. And hell, if you want Edomite women, you're going to have them too. You want Chinese, so-called Japanese. You see? Hey, the Lord knows the desires of our hearts. And, eye has not seen nor ear heard what the Lord has in store for those who love him. Okay, so, imagine how much more we're going to have, man. All right, brothers talk about having planets, right? The scripture says, in my house are many mansions. Or in my father's house are many mansions, roughly paraphrasing. All right? Yeah, we're going to have slaves. We're going to have vast amounts of wealth, more than you could ever imagine, man. Gold, cattle, land, property, slaves, okay? All types of stones, gemstones, diamonds, all right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. All right, we got next, not China, not Russia, and this America, Babylon is not going to rule forever, man. This America, Babylon, the revived Roman Empire, is at the end of its last leg, man. And Yahweh Shai is getting ready to crack the clouds and end this nightmare for our people, man. We are the needy. We are the ones who need salvation. All right, so I pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Bahasham Rachakurash. And double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Shalom wa, abad babal. Shalom.